Have you ever thought about waking up every day and wondering if you have water? Not for a shower or a coffee, but just enough to drink, to grow food, to survive. Sadly, across our planet, this is the daily reality for billions. In fact, according to the United Nations, over 2 billion people still don't have the access to safe drinking water. As a climate change researcher, I often travel to the rural areas across Nepal. A few months ago, in Madhya province, I met an elderly farmer standing beside a dried up pond who said, "In my father's time, the ponds never dried and our crops never failed. Now the ponds are gone and we wait for the rain that never comes." And those words have stayed with me ever since. And this is not an isolated story. All around the world, droughts have become more harsher and more unpredictable. But I believe the nature still holds the answer. We just have to listen. Our project is simple, sustainable, and deeply rooted in tradition. To increase the drought preparedness of the communities, we aim to restore and build community water retention ponds. Using nature based solutions, each pond will be designed to collect rain during the monsoon, which automatically reduces the floods, and store the water for the dry season. Also, with time, the water seeps underground, recharging the aquifers, which means restoring the groundwater naturally. But what makes this project truly sustainable is the ownership. These ponds won't be managed by us forever. They will be led by local women's group and youth leaders from the community, ensuring a fair use and a long-term care. To guarantee sustainability in this project, we also use a smart financial model based on the concept of shared investment. It's a simple 40-40-20 co-funding split between the local government, the NGO partners, and the community itself. Now, as the ponds start generating income from these things like irrigation or fisheries, a portion goes into the community water fund. This fund is the key. It pays for the maintenance and allows them to expand the model themselves, making the community financially self reliant. I come from Nepal, the land where the world's rivers begin. If we can restore water here, we can restore hope, not just for one community, but for the entire world. This project is not just a one time charity. It's a scalable, financially smart movement where every single drop of water can bring back thousands of blooms. Thank you. This is Dipshika, Miss Cosmo Nepal 2025, presenting my Green Summit idea. From roots, we lead. Namaste.
Chawoi Sang judges and hello ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dipshika Nepal. I'm Miss Cosmo Nepal 2025. By profession, I'm an environmentalist and a climate change researcher. So when I was traveling to Madhya province a few months back, to explain and elaborate, Madhya is basically the Mekong Delta of Nepal. That is agricultural and rice hub of Nepal. So we were expected to receive 15 days early monsoon this year. So the governments were prepared for the rain, the farmers were prepared for heavy rainfall, and they were prepared for flood even. But what happened was completely opposite. We did not even have a drop of water for months, and the plantations were delayed, and many left with none water, not even to drink. So this shows clearly we are not prepared for a situation like this. We are not prepared for drought. And something really interesting happened to me back there because I met an elderly farmer who sat beside a dried up pond and said to me, "In my father's time, the ponds never dried and our crops never failed. Now that the ponds are gone, we wait for the rain that never comes." And there it was, the solution right there in front of us, the traditional water ponds. And that is when the project came to picture. We know that climate crisis affects water in two different extremes, floods and droughts. Floods are more visible and prominent while droughts are slowly killing. And people tend to go for a solution like deep boring, which are not sustainable, and they tend to deplete the groundwater like naturally, right? So this is the solution, Boon to Bloom. With this project, we aim to empower communities to build climate resilience and secure sustainable livelihoods through the restoration of natural water ponds. It is a very simple solution, to be honest, but with a little bit of environmental engineering is all it takes. So I'm going to explain to you very simple how it brings drought relief but also flood control. So when we went to the tea resort point for our activity, all of us saw that there was a very heavy waterfall last night, right? So there was a lot of water was overflowing throughout the resort. But we have a water retention pond nearby. What happens is that the water finds its way to go back to the pond and it stores there for one whole year, and the community can use it in the dry seasons. So that's how it controls both floods and drought at the same time. But there's also many other benefits like aquifer recharge, heat wave mitigation, biodiversity restoration, because we create a ecosystem there, aquatic ecosystem, and community livelihood and drought relief eventually. So yeah, but what makes this project truly special is the accountability, sustainability, and the ownership of the project. We plan to not leave this project forever, but hand it over to the women group that are locally working. And this is a pilot idea, to be very honest. So we have a community in mind, and that is like Musahar community in Dalit, which have like the Dalit community in Madhya province. And I chose this community because, let me inform you, there's 90s family in that community. There's 3 tube wells, and only one of them is working. So there are children bathing, women, everything, farmer, everyone is relying on one tube well.
15 seconds
So I
left.
feel like if I get to pilot this project at that community, it will be a great benefit. It will hit mutual benefits overall. I have the overall framework here. I would like to conclude my presentation by saying that I'm just 24 and I have
Time's up.
dedicated one-fourth of my life in this
Thank for your
thing. Thank you so much.
presentation, Ms. Cosmo Nepal.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry I ran out of time.
It's okay. And would love to invite Ms. Mo to give the question.
Thank you very much. It sounds like in some of the area they already start collecting the water. Yes. So you say that majority of them is not working.
The tube wells is not
Yeah.
working, but the
Right.
ponds are not made,
So,
even though it's very simple.
How can you make sure that your project, when it's took off, it will work and it will benefit the whole community?
Thank you so much for the question. I think since it is a problem that is clearly visible right now in Nepal, and like Tata said and everybody said, drought is a big problem in many other countries. So we see the problem, and the community is willing to act. And this problem, this is a solution that is replicable, that is sustainable, and that is like scalable in any part of the world. So as long as there's land and there's a community that is willing to work, it is going to work. And for the finances also for this project, we have made a co-funding mechanism where it's 40-40-20 rule. 40% comes from the government, the local government who have DRR fund allocated in their annual budget, and 40% come from the local NGO stakeholders who have climate and drought related plans, and the rest 20% come from the community itself, whether it's like just giving the lands or the labors, but it comes from the community. So that is how this project will be owned by the community, will be led by the community, and will be scaled by the community later. So I think it is a global idea that can be replicated everywhere. Thank you so much.
Is there other questions, judges?
Thank you.
Thank you
so
very much for your sharing, Ms. Cosmo Nepal.